Days to make this video. 28 years. Why? After 28 years, did I leave Century 21 to move to eXp? Let's find out.
This is your first day in real estate, and I am your real estate sales trainer and coach, James Festini. And this is the program that's going to teach you how to sell more real estate in less time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's taken me way too long to produce this video. Don't know how many people are in the chat room. I'd love to find out because I am doing this live. And hopefully it goes off without a hitch because I spent the last hour putting together all the little slides and all this information to tell you. I've tried to shoot this several times in several different locations. If this sticks, then I'll do it. If not, I'll have to re-explain the 28 reasons why I left Century 21 to go to eXp Realty. Let me start by saying about 6 months ago, I bought eXp stock. I started playing the stock market, spending a couple bucks here and there, and picked up a couple $100 worth of eXp stock. That should have been the first sign. I know for a long time, many of the YouTubers, let me take a drink. Many of the YouTubers who are real estate agents have been moving over to the eXp, and I was one of the ones holding out. But it became obvious one day, one afternoon, a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago now, that I was driving from my daughter's soccer practice, and one of the buildings in my backyard, Yorba Linda, had a big, beautiful eXp sign on it. Like, if I could build a perfect office location, it would be there, and it was there. It's amazing just how these things work out. So I immediately made a U-turn and walked in, and when I walked into this location, holy guacamole. If you guys are going to see some of the videos that I produce over the next couple months, every corner of this building is a beautiful backdrop. It looks like a restaurant, like a beautiful Italian restaurant. Really just super, super nice. Super nice. So that was, things just coincided, the stars aligned. So I'm going to start right away and see if I can do this in a very short order. The 28 reasons why I moved to eXp. Okay, reason number one, the location in town. Absolutely ideal location. That was really one of the triggering points. I know in this generation we are all about home offices, but I still believe in this day and age that it is important that you have, as a real estate company, that you have an office on Main Street, USA at any cost. If you're going to be a pillar of the community, real estate agents and their office locations are part of that pillar and that society. If you go to any town USA, I believe that there are certain staples that should be on Main Street: the barber, the florist, the small hometown feel hardware store, the chiropractor, the insurance guy, the local pub, the real estate agent, maybe the library and the civic center. All that kind of stuff just congregates into the center of town so that people get to know, like, and trust the company. And I think that was very important. So the location in town was the first thing that set me off. Second, reframing my future and the story about the train. For the last couple of years, I've been describing my real estate career, or real estate as a whole, as a train. Remember those old cartoons that you used to watch where there was a guy who was the train in a tunnel, and the train had to go faster, and then there was that guy shoveling the coal in the train into that to make the train go faster so that the steam engine would go faster. I was the guy shoveling coal into the steam engine, and I was the conductor. And there was just, I described my real estate career as a light at the end of a tunnel that would just get bigger and smaller according to how, success, came and went. And this just roller coaster of never seeing. I pretty much figured I was going to just drop dead in an open house, to be quite honest. That one day I'd just be door knocking and I'd die, right? Anyhow, I've never had, unfortunately, I've never been taught to look into the future, never been taught about savings and putting together a plan for retirement. And to be quite honest, it's, partly my fault, but also partly the fault of this industry. We're just not raised and conditioned to be that way. And the companies that I've been with, I was at the RA for a little bit, Century 21, pretty much the entire 28 years. I've been doing this almost 29 years now. But I did Remax for a day or two, literally, Prudential for a day or two. But it's always been with Century 21. But regardless of the company that I was with, no company ever really encouraged you to think about retirement. They just go sell, go sell, go sell. And then there's always the old rumor of, hey, try to buy a house a year, and then that's it. But it was never really, it never felt like it never flipped a switch in my head to invest in the future until I joined eXp. It reframed everything, and a lot of the way that the company even thinks and behaves. It taught me something. I'm 48 years old now, and I finally am seeing and understanding. So you have to hear me out on these 28 reasons why I went to eXp and why probably you should. Stick around to the last one. You'll be pleasantly surprised because a lot of these are not the reasons you think it is. This is the future of real estate. Reason number 3, the future of real estate. This is the future of real estate. I believe that there is a purge going on in the industry right now. I believe that real estate agents are going under fast. Not that there is not going to be plenty of agents left over. I truly believe that if 99% of the real estate agents left the business right now, there would still end up being plenty of business for those of us who are working. There's just too many agents. There was an article recently that said that there was more agents than houses for sale. It's always felt like that, but I guess when the newspaper points it out, it just means we have to work harder for our listings. There's the bigger agents. There's going to be 2 agents left. It's going to be big box companies, right? And then there's going to be little box companies and then no one else. It's okay that, McDonald's did not put Jersey Mike's or Subway sandwiches. There's just different companies out there. So there's still going to be, the big companies and then the small company. I don't mind being an independent, and I think eXp kind of makes me realize that as this purge goes into the future, that as a real estate agent, I can fit into the future of what the real estate agent is going to look like. And this is the future of real estate. I truly believe it. Anyhow, location, eXp World, not just a physical location here, but their online university. It's no longer that you have to go to these different seminars and webinars. They're sitting there. So the location, the virtual location is very interesting, ties into the future of real estate. But eXp World it's a world of real estate. It's like going to an Inman Connect or the local national, any one of those big functions. Now they exist inside of the virtual world, which I'm digging. I haven't even scratched the surface of the eXp world, but trust me, it's got so much more than it has to offer in any other platform. It just doesn't exist on any other medium in the real estate industry. This is very forward thinking. Change is in the air. I was talking about that purge. I truly believe that over the next 10 years, the National Association of Realtors, I believe there are about 1.4 million real estate agents in the industry. I truly believe that we're in a purge. We're not going to look back. Hopefully this video, when I look into the future, people will look back, or I'll look back and be like, I knew it, Festine. I knew you were onto something. I believe that 50 to 70% of the real estate agents are going to leave the industry and never return. Never return. I think right now we're in the middle of that purge, the flushing of the toilet, I refer to it as, because there's a lot of dingleberries and a lot of crap agents. Hell, I'm seeing them every day, even to this day. I just lost a listing, $1 million listing, to a part-time agent who took pictures of this $1 million property with what could only be described as a potato, maybe an iPhone 4 with a dirty crack. It was just unacceptable garbage, and I'm still continue to be fascinated that a consumer would let that fly. You would think that the moment it got listed and they saw it online, they'd be like, But the level of expectation that the consumer is going to have has risen in the world of marketing and in the world of professionalism and experience. And so people, because we are living in this society of review and research and investigate, there's just not going to be much room for people to hide anymore, right? They're not going to be able to stumble into a listing. They're going to look at it and say, this is the biggest investment of my life. I'm not going to leave it up to Joe Ding Dong, even though Joe Ding Dong got this one. I believe there's a purge happening, and I believe eXp is going to protect me based on my behavior too, which is very important. And I'll talk about that in a second. 6, relocation freedom. In my previous company, I'm not going to say their name anymore because I don't have anything bad to say about them. They were a wonderful company, Century 21. I've been with them for 28 years. Let me just repeat that. 28 years I was with that company. And really all I have to show for it is a pile of glass with my name etched on it and nothing at the end of it. But that has nothing to do with the relocation. The relocation system in some of these big boxes is that you send it out to destination, right? If you call me and go, hey James, I've got a seller in Yorba Linda who wants to sell. I'm here in Arkansas, and he wants to sell his house in Yorba Linda. Will you pay a referral fee? Gladly. Well, with other companies, they don't let you just do this agent to agent referral. We pay a referral because most people know it's like X amount of percentage referral fee and I take over. No, it has to go up to corporate. They take a little slice and then they give it to me. Unacceptable. I don't want to pay any more relocation fees with eXp. If you have a listing to send me, you send it to me, I handle it, we get paid, right? If I have a buyer to send to you, you guys in Texas, I've sent like 20 buyers into Texas. I really have never been a fan of using relocation because I always felt like they were going to take a slice of it and then it was just forget about it. It was just a pain. I couldn't vet the agents. It just went into outer space and then it came back down and I got a smaller check. It was like 40% of my paycheck disappeared. Instead of being able to look onto the, again, eXp world and the relocation, the referral base, and I can see production and I can call you up and say, hey, this is me, this is you. Okay, here's my client, take care of him. And then I follow up with it, right? Again, better customer service. I just didn't like I didn't like it when a client said to me, hey, James, do you have someone in Arizona recently? I just sent someone to Arizona and I go, yeah, I'll check it. I'll set you up with someone. But it was this form that I filled out and then it went up to outer space and then it got sent to someone where I was like, I would love to just go into that town and do my own reconnaissance. Maybe it takes 10, 15, 20 minutes for me to do it, but I can say results, have a conversation, refer it and say, hey, you know what I mean? And I didn't have that control. It just went up to outer space. It just didn't feel right. I didn't like it. I didn't have any control and I couldn't feel like I was taking care of my client. This one I got lucky, but it's realtor roulette when you do that. So let me go on to number 7, no borders, continuing on that relocation. For some reason, I just always felt like there was a wall or a border that, I couldn't send it somewhere and I had to go like over a fence. With eXp, it's almost like the world got even smaller and I can communicate directly with people. And now I feel like I can expand my personal reach, like with a team, but not necessarily a team, but more like I can have more connection without any borders or barriers to me and my expansion. And well, helping my customer, my sellers who were leaving out of state. Like I said, I've sent like 25 people out of state in the last year. And I just felt like I was sending them to another country, like literally a wall with a border, instead of me being able to watch the progress. And again, it just has to do with the platform and the behavior and the conditioning other companies do that with. So, here's a big one: coaching from Icons Expand members. This was one of the big reasons why I went there. And a lot of people aren't going to realize this, but let's imagine this: eXp has their agents, and when their agents sell X amount of properties, they're encouraged financially through their stock and all sorts of stuff. I'm not going to get into details about that. But the higher producing agents can earn back parts of their stock options or their cap in there by creating videos on what they're doing to succeed. So basically, What you're looking at right now is a real estate agent who's successful, who is comfortable getting on camera, going on YouTube. I do the rounds on the podcasts, and you know the usual suspects out there. And you see that many of these people get interviewed by a lot of the big podcasters. But what you'll never see is the number one agent in your town, probably, or the number two or three agent in your town doing one of these interviews because they just don't do it, right? I've never seen a podcast. I'd love to get behind the scenes of the top two or three people in my town, but they don't do those rounds. This podcast and YouTube space where agents are being interviewed, it's like they're from another place. It's weird. I can't think of all the podcasts I've watched and listened and learned from. I can't think of any agent in my region that has been on those besides myself. Maybe one or two others, but they're not. You know what I mean? With this expanded mentors, it forces real estate agents who are up at once they produce a certain amount, 20, 30 sides or X amount of millions of sales, it forces above average producing agent with zero experience on getting onto podcast and telling you what you want to hear. It forces them inside of their home computer, now that they've closed 25 or 30 or 50 sides, that if they want to pay it back or if they want to get it, pretty much bribes top producing agents to flip on a camera and divulge. And the thing when you have that is that, like with me and all of the other gurus on the internet, we know how much to tell you and how much not to tell you to make you, we'll give you as much as we can, but we realize we can't give it all to you. And so we have to hold back some because it's too much information. How much would I love one of the top agents in my town to just turn on a camera and shoot their mouth off and tell me everything they know with no restrictions, because they have to fill this void and they're not comfortable with doing this. They can't entertain a camera. They're just going to be like, here's what I'm doing. And they're going to dive. So I have a feeling there's a gem inside of there that no one's, when I've been talking to other people about this expanded members thing, I'm digging in here and I'm like, okay, that guy clearly is not comfortable in front of a camera, but he's done 50 to 80 sides. He's everyday agent who's crushing it, and now they're revealing. I can learn from that because they're not polished at delivering to me. They're polished at delivering to their sellers and what they can do, but trust me, this is huge. I think this is something unlike anything you'll ever see in the industry. Okay, 24/7 training, again, goes back to the same thing. Those live training sessions from these higher level agents in the system, 24/7. So you can go in there at your own leisure and go into the eXp world and enter the auditoriums or the forums, and you can see and learn from. And if you're an audio junkie or a video junkie and you want to learn more about anything, they archive all of their videos. Very interesting, but most of these other companies, they don't have that. Like even my company, yeah, and maybe your company too, the one I was with before, you'd get an email at the end of the week, but then it was gone. It was like, and I would say, why don't we have a YouTube channel? Even if it's private, why don't we have all of these trainings? Why, out of the hundreds and hundreds of agents in our company, why don't we have an archive of these trainings? Why aren't all the seminar? I mean, there was just like no archive of knowledge that I can go to 24/7. It was very disturbing, very concerning now this day and age. Now we're going on to another one. Interesting. KV Core, number 10 reason. 28. I got to speed this up. KV Core is a CRM, contact relationship manager, that does it's let's just say it's a really killer CRM. And I'm a big fan of Mojo Selling Solutions, the dialer. Well, KV Core, their slick CRM, with an app called API Nation, I figured it out that they do a dance where now I can integrate Mojo with an extremely sophisticated CRM. I'm not going to get into the details of that. That's just like a huge can of worms. But if there was one consumer contact relationship manager that filled in the gaps that Mojo was missing, KV Core, above and beyond. Trust me on that. I don't know what to say anything. All right. I get paid faster. It's kind of annoying. Maybe it doesn't go for you guys in other companies, but from the moment my escrow would close on a transaction to the moment I was cashing a check, literally a paper check, by the way, by the time the check showed up to me, it was 2 or 3 business days, and then I would have to physically drive it into a bank or sign it and take a picture of it instead of direct wire. May or may not matter to you, but With eXp, it's like it closes, I get paid pretty much that day or the next day in my bank account, it's a big thing, man. I just never believe my paycheck is there until I get it in my deposit. So now I get it, now I get it more deliberately. Okay. Caps. I've never been with a company that has a cap, so I don't even know what this is like. But let me just say that over the many, many years I've given to the previous company with nothing to give back. I don't get anything out of it, right? With this cap, when I hit $16,000 into their pocket, now I make 100% split minus my things. I don't even know what's that like. And now in this year, I'm already kicking so much butt. Let's just put it this way. If I wish I had done this sooner. I wish I did this 8 years ago when I first heard of them. I wish I did it 4 years ago when someone approached. I wish I had done this sooner. I would have so much more going for me, right? This sucks. This just sucks. Okay, revenue share versus profit share. I'm not even going to try to describe this stuff. The one thing that kept me from moving over ever at all, I was never going to go to like KW because it felt like everybody was like, "Hey, have you heard about the?" It seemed like KW was always people were always trying to get you to drink the Kool-Aid, drink the Kool-Aid. Have you? It was like the Hare Krishnas right in the airport where they're always handing you flowers and like, have you made your reservations in the kingdom of Gary Keller? And I'm just like, I'm not interested. I understand the platform did this massive expansion by getting other agents to come in under them, MLM, whatever you want to call it, under your wing and your family, whatever. I just wasn't comfortable with it because that's not my thing. In 28 years of doing this, I've never really can imagine another agent that I would say, "Hey, you'd be a perfect fit for me. Come here." I've never been interested in expanding to a team. I've always just kind of done my thing, and that's all I did. So it kind of went against everything that I did. It was in my nature. It wasn't my style. So it was a very big turnoff. However, as a a content creator, there is a difference now, and I'm going to go into this in a bit, but there is a difference in the ability to, if you believe in a company, right? When it comes to the way this platform works, and I'm going to get into it in a second here, but the way it works is that when you go to that other company, KW, when someone is signed up, there really wasn't an incentive for anything beyond sign up under me and we're done, right? If you don't produce or if you do produce. The energy and the vibe, the way that this works, it's almost like the sponsor, for those of you who don't understand eXp. When you sign up with eXp, you name a sponsor, meaning that you watching me, you like my style, you watch everything I do, you want me to coach and train you, you want me to be like your godfather. When you sign up, you say James Festini brought me in. It doesn't take anything out of you, but it brings back to me. But the way this is structured is I have more incentive to make sure you succeed. So therefore, there's more into it. It's just very different. So I've seen models of agents who work with that other company and agents who work with this company that are actually like making money from bringing people in, but helping them succeed versus bringing people in that nothing really happens after that. So again, I don't know a whole lot about that, and that wasn't my intention of coming in, but I do see that this is a definite potential for income stream, but it's not something, again, this isn't something that Glenn Sanford, the CEO of this company, wrote a book to say recruit, 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 right? He's not doing that. Here's a big reason why. I lead generate. Number 14, I generate my own leads for many, 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 many years. Since 1992, 93, I generate my own business. So therefore, I never depended on another company to do it. If you are a prospector, if you are a networker, if you understand your marketing, well, hell, if you've done any training and coaching with me, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't need Mama Bird to drop a worm in your beak. You are on it yourself. You can generate your own business. And so for many, many years, people were saying, why don't you join? Why don't you open up your own brokerage? Why don't you're doing your own business? How come you? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. But since I do my own lead generation, why wouldn't I make all of my profits instead of having to share it, right? A lot of control there. Very interesting, the amount of control. Opportunity to be at the beginning. Oh, I'm not sharing that properly. You guys are seeing the line. Opportunity to be at the beginning. There's something to be said about being at the beginning. I feel like I'm an early, but not too early. I feel like I'm a little bit late, but eXp just crossed 50,000 agents. That's a very, if you look at some of the charts, that's very fast. Never have I been with a company, well, any other really company, but I've never seen a company so curious as, like, when I say I'm with eXp, people are like, tell me more, right? If I went to any other company, you'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Good job. Congratulations, right? But people say, why that? What's going on there? And it's because something's going on. Something very interesting is going on in the eXp world. And I like the idea of being part of something in the beginning stages, right? In the beginning of something very, very big. And I believe the longer I'm here, I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be huge, right? I mean, could you imagine being in the beginnings of, well, Keller Williams when they first started? That's the latest generation of what we can understand as some agents who've been in the business for 10, 15 years. You've seen these expansions. You'd be like, oh yeah, I was one of the OGs. I feel like within 50,000, just getting on early. Oh man, there's some people who 5 years ago joined and they're making money. Again, this goes back to number 2, right? Reframing the future. The future of your business depends on you thinking very differently. And no one has ever taught me to do this. 28 years. Can I say that again? 28 years. No one has taught me how to think this way. eXp has. WordPress websites. Yeah. I mean, I have my own website that I've always done, but the WordPress platform, you get a free website, right? And one of the easiest ones to integrate, to do all sorts of really cool stuff if you want to get your hands a little bit dirty, or if you want to hire someone to do a little bit more razzle dazzle on your website. The integration, for me personally, the WordPress website, I can't wait. I've only been here for 3 weeks, but I can't wait to lay my hands on that WordPress website, because a lot of what I did, well, particularly my coaching and training and all the other stuff, was a WordPress website. And it's just, for most of you, like, oh, it gives a crap. Well, I'm giving you 28 reasons. Okay, let me put in there. Healthcare options. Hello. Does your company provide healthcare options? Yeah. eXp gives you opportunities. They're sure. Oh yeah, your board of realtors, yada yada. This is a culture, right? If there's certain things that a company needs is culture, right? Location, support, training, culture, commission splits. There's certain things that a company needs. And I approached my previous company and I said, here's a few of the things that really we could do to improve, and never did that, right? They never like approached me. They didn't even get me started on that. Fully staffed technology team. I truly feel for 28 years, Nicole and I have had to been forced to evolve, to learn this technology, to learn WordPress websites, all these different technologies. I had to learn to survive. Well, had I been with eXp, I didn't really have to learn. Like, I could have just been a real estate agent. So for those of you who aren't technologically savvy, guess what? There's the fully staffed technology team, like, they're online and available. I mean, there's so much support everywhere. It's insane. All right. Number 19, let's speed this up. Stock options. Yes, the stock market. You have opportunity to buy stock, and they encourage you to buy stock. And let me tell you something. When you buy stock, when you own stock in a company, you own the company. So when I had to start telling some of my clients, hey, by the way, I've made a move to this company, they're like, oh, is it your company? Guess what the answer is? It is my company. It's a partnership. I've never been able to say that. eXp is my company. As a shareholder, I own stock in eXp. Therefore, I own eXp. I'm a shareholder in eXp. I don't make the big decisions, but I am capable of making my decisions, right? And that has to do with number 20, branding and naming freedom. Now more than ever, well, several years ago, my old company changed their logo, and that was really a big stab to my artistic, and my ADHD at the same time, where I liked having that logo say something. When they changed the logo, that was really rough on me. But again, it goes back to I lead generate, I prospect, I create my own income from my own lead generation efforts, from my door knocking and my cold calling and my everything I do. And so now I feel like I have more freedom to say, my name is James Festini and I'm a real estate agent. I don't have to answer to saying, I am this or I am that. I am me. And it does have a lot to do with branding and naming freedoms. Now I'm James Festini, right? The real estate agent. And it gives the public perception that you own your own company, which guess what? I do own my own company. Everything I do now is myself, right? I can be more free with what I want to do. Let me put it this way. Here's another good reason. Smarter people have done this. Smarter people than me, which I'm not very smart at all, so there's plenty of the demographics out there. Smarter people than me have joined eXp. Some reason why not, right? Smarter people. When I saw Grant Cardone, right? He's no dummy. He's a good guy. I've seen a lot of big top producing agents going to eXp. Sometimes, when your mom used to say, hey, if your friend jumps off a cliff, are you going to jump off a cliff? Sometimes, if your friend is very smart and they jump off a cliff and they jump into a pool of gold and they have a parachute on their way down, yeah, ma, I am going to, right? Yes, I followed brilliant leaders into understanding, and there are other brilliant leaders like up in the bigger places who have said these guys are doing it right. I've heard a story of a meeting, maybe it's rumor, maybe it's not, where the CEO Glenn Sanford went to Gary Keller and he goes, "Hey, I see something wrong with your company. Here's how we can make it better." And Gary Keller's like, meh. And Glenn Sanford's like, okay, I'm going to go do my own thing over here. And then he starts eXp. There's a lot to be said about smarter people doing things that you should do. And taking advantage of other people's wisdom is an old, very smart way to do things. Support from all, no more fear. Ooh, that was a big one. It seems like a strange one, but for many, 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 many reasons, I always felt like I couldn't go to another company because I was going to get in trouble. Like somewhere I was going to run into that one psychopath seller or crazy buyer, and I was going to be in court and my life was going to depend on it. And I needed the protection and the backing of a smart broker who's got my back. And even though for many, many years I knew what the hell I was doing, I would always go to the broker and say, hey, am I doing this right? And they're like, yeah, you're doing it right. Okay, I always felt like I needed a second opinion. But after so many years, that never happened. And I always paid to this franchise out of fear that no one was going to watch me, right? That there was no mama's going to make all of my nightmares go away kind of thing, right? It just was a very false fear. But now I feel with my knowledge, and whether you're new or old in the business, that was an irrational fear. And there are always people who've got your back, and some of the people who had your back probably never had your back. So you never know. Watch your own back, protect yourself, follow the rules, and you should be okay. But I love the support, man. The support in this transition, it's insane. Like it's crazy. From the manager I came in under to there's like 4 people in this building that I'm in who are at the drop of a word, they're doing things. Things happen. Oh, I need a lock. Just things were happening. I was like, okay, they got it covered. I wasn't used to this sort of pampering or like carry on where they were like, oh no, anytime I've been with the C21 brand for so many years, but I've been with other different franchises, right? There was a little one in my town, so I went to them. So I've kind of I've probably done maybe 5 different C21s over my 28 years, but always that logo was there. That brand was always there because that would mattered. Otherwise, it was not possible. So many years I've been getting calls from other brokers who say, come join me, come join me. And I'm like, no, I've got a Century 21 tattoo on my back, and the cost of removal is about $20,000. And probably about once a week in the last year or so, I've been getting calls from other brokers. I'm like, nope, 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 don't care, don't care. So it's very strange for me to do this. 28 years, people. Smarter people have done this. If you respect and trust what I'm doing, I think you need to take care and charge of your future. Splits and fees. Last year I gave about $25,000 to $30,000 to my previous company, and I don't have anything to show for it. If I was with eXp, I would have only given 16 grand, and then things would have happened where a lot of that would have came back in stock. And so nothing against the big box companies. Again, I love everything that they do. If you are going to go with a big franchise, the only alternative was Century 21. I mean, you know how much entrenched I was with the company, so I can say nothing wrong about the company. Just eXp is better for me and for many. But the management and the staff and the brokers, everything, they are awesome. I just had to, evolve. Okay, which goes to number 24. I am the future of real estate. I'm probably one of the most high-tech agents I know, for crying out loud. I drive a mobile office. I have Google Glass. I still have the Snapchat glasses with the camera. I am very, very high-tech. I'm very high-tech. I am the future of real estate. I am an old dog, but I keep learning the new tricks. Okay, I'm a technological. I need that. I had no intentions of bringing on a bunch of agents and being held responsible for them. I didn't want to have an office, but they're really just for what? To me, to get 100% split, and I don't know. But now, eXp, little flip of a switch, and all of a sudden I'm like, this is the equivalent of being my own broker, because now I can expand without the liability, but it is my responsibility to make you succeed, which is going to be in the next two sessions, I think 1 or 2 I'm going to tell you about right here. Yeah. The last one is the very most important reason why I switched. But to be a broker, to have autonomy and be able to have control over my business, and now I can bring in agents in here, but I don't have to babysit them, but I do have to whip them into shape kind of thing. It's just a freedom like I've never had. And so this is the next best thing to open up James Festini Real Estate, because it is James Festini Real Estate powered by eXp. And that's the trend of all these industries, all of the business of real estate, especially with the KWs. It was like real estate team, and then a squeaky little 8-point font italicized and a 50% opacity in gray, powered by whoever else. That is the evolution of the real estate business. Not that I'm going to shove eXp in a tiny little pocket, because I'm the owner of the company now. I own the company. By owning stock, I own the company. I don't own all of it, just a tiny little piece, but I do own a piece of the company. And so therefore it is also in my best interest to promote the company as something that is for me. And working the words and looking for ways to describe the excitement and enthusiasm when I'm in a listing presentation. To be my own broker, to own my own company, right? And Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is my company. It's eXp. It's a cloud-based business, but that doesn't mean I'm standing right here. I've been with this other company for so many years, and now I'm the new and improved. Just the enthusiasm, like I said, rejuvenated, and I got my own company now. Just exciting stuff, my friends. No brainer. Yeah, let me tell you something. A lot of you will say, why would I? Oh, maybe I'll go after the new year. Maybe after I've already paid my E&O. I've already done. I promise you, the amount of excuses you have. If you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm thinking about going. This is a no-brainer. Like, if you are thinking about it, then you need to do it right now. I made the decision to move to eXp within a 4-hour window. From the moment I saw the sign to the moment I was standing there interviewing or talking to the manager here, to the moment I said, what's next? It cost me maybe $500 to $1,000 in like shuffling and shimming. My friends, I just dropped $3,000 on pens, custom pens, notepads. I mean, all of my shirts are branded. When I was telling everybody, rejecting all of these other brokers who would approach me and saying, hey, I'd love to have you come and talk to us about our company. And I would say to them, no, I have a Century 21 tattoo. It didn't mean like I actually stuck the needle in me and I have tattoos on me. The manager here thought I actually did have a tattoo. He goes, so where's this tattoo? I guess not. It's a metaphorical tattoo, meaning that the cost of removing that logo off of my body and my universe, for crying out loud, that backpack, my canopy, my vehicle wrap, all of my shirts, my hats, my ties, my beanies, like on and on and on and umbrellas, so much. I have a massive Century 21 store. For me to undo that, the fact that I did that tells you you probably don't have, and transactions, right? Oh, I don't want to rock the boat with my transactions. Well, obviously, if you question whether your broker is going to be fair, a broker is fair. They're good people. Moving that over and making a decision for your future, I was really most concerned that I'm about to kick some serious real estate booty right now. And I just didn't. As soon as I knew I made the decision, I had to have my license right there and then switch over, because I knew the next day or the next week I was going to get another listing, and I didn't want to lock myself into the old company knowing that I had already made the decision to invest in my new company. Does that make sense? And so it was a hard decision to go to the manager who I love dearly, right? To tell the broker who I respect, to tell the owners who I respect. I mean, they're like family. But with all due respect, family also knows when a family member has to do what they got to do. And they've always had a really wonderful open door policy. Like I said, I can't speak highly enough of the company, Century 21. You know, if any of you guys are watching or listening, I love it, man. It's like my mother, right? My parents are just so much, like I want to cry. Yes, it had to happen. Okay. They'll always have a special place in my heart. But now the future is here. The purge is here. My rejuvenation. So on a final note, my 28th reason, my Cosa Nostra training. That's Italian for my family, our thing. The biggest reason why I brought it in here is, my side hustle and my efforts to be a coach and a trainer have never been appreciated enough, right? I just couldn't get my word out enough, and I couldn't retain enough people to stay, right? It's like when you would hire me as a coach, $500 a month, $1,500, 30, 90-day commitment or whatever. When you buy any of my programs, you would come in with the coaching, and I would try to get you, but it'd be like I was mama bird, and then I would kick you out of the nest, and I would never look over the nest and find out, did you get eaten? Did you face plant? Are you dead, right? Because I was protecting my nest, and I couldn't keep an eye on you guys. So any one of you guys who are my coaching clients, right? I kicked you out of the nest, and I had to trust that it was happening. With eXp now, when you identify me as a sponsor, when you bring me in, you say, what, James Festini, I'm coming in under you. When you're under my wing, what I'm going to call hashtag Cosa Nostra, our thing, it is coming in under my protection, right? The Mafia 2.0. Now I'm going to start free training, right? Not to the YouTube crowd, right? Where everybody gets everything. It's going to be specific to my people who I bring in, and we're going to do a weekly webinars, and I'm going to open up everything. I'm going to say, okay, guys, where are you stuck? And it's going to be just like the one-on-one that we do, the one-on-one training that you and I have, or if you guys have ever gone through my one-on-one training, or you guys have ever been curious about my one-on-one training, joining eXp as me as your sponsor would pretty much assure you that so long as I'm breathing and I'm doing this thing, I'm going to be there watching your back. It will be me. You will call me and go, James, I got this deal. I'm about to walk into it for sub honor. James, you're going to have me on speed dial because you're now part of my team. Although you don't say Festini team, you are part of hashtag Cosa Nostra, where it is us. Like, I don't care. I got Adam who just joined. I mean, as you guys join, whether you're in Puerto Rico or Arkansas, when you come in and you say James Festini is my sponsor, you're now in part of a tighter group where I'm gonna be like, okay, this is what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. And if like you're not into cold calling or door knocking, but I've got mad skills in marketing and advertising and branding and all of the other stuff, I can keep you there. I'll be like, let's just work on your strengths. You're no longer coming to me and saying, James, I want to learn exclusively how to door knock. It's me saying, you have all access to me forever now. It's not like we have this condensed 90-day window where you can't be like, let's do this thing. So I encourage you that if you are thinking about it, let's just put it this way. No. every agent who hears my voice should jump to eXp. Like, there's really no reason. I waited 3 weeks to do this video for me to say there's really no reason why you shouldn't make that leap. It just doesn't make sense. So anyhow, I encourage you guys. Thank you very much for watching me. I hope I got through this quickly enough. Thank you for joining me this evening. If you have any questions, you know where to find me.